And back for the second part of our roundtable, radio television commentator Ellis Henican and Newsmax contributor Kevin Broderick. Thanks so much for sticking around, guys. Without even stepping on the primetime stage, most would agree presidential candidate Fiorina shined in last night's early debate. Here's what the only female in the GOP race had to say about her performance.
You know, I went into this knowing that only 40% of Republicans even know who I am. So I have the lowest name ID of anyone in the field. It shows up in national polling. And so this was a chance for people who had never seen me before to see me.
You guys, I'm a big fan of Fiorina, not just after last night, but even what she said today. And to me, I think this may have been one of the biggest mistakes by the GOP last night. I think they did some fancy accounting with the polls to make sure that John Kasich was on the main stage last night. I mean, you cannot have the governor of the state hosting the debate and the convention not be on the primetime stage. He got in the race so late and then shot up into the top 10.
Conspiracy
and
theorist.
He did a great job. And Kasich did a great job on the stage last night, but I wonder if it came at Fiorina's expense and at the GOP's expense, because you know, think about how much everybody would be talking about her, someone who can clearly take on Hillary Clinton, if she would have been on that main debate stage. Kevin, what's your take?
I agree. I mean, it would have been great to have her on the stage, but I wouldn't have wanted her on the stage at the loss of John Kasich, because I think he won the debate on the primetime debate. He was the most eloquent. He handled all of his gotcha questions really well, and he was able to really pivot, turn a defensive stance into an offensive one, which was very effective. I would say, you know, for Fiorina, you know, unfortunately, it looks like the CNN debate, she's going to be in a tough spot. She might not even make the main stage then, because they're going to do an aggregate of all polls going back to, I think, May or July. And that's going to mean that all of her low poll numbers now are going to be aggregated into that debate. But as for Fiorina, you know, completely refreshing to see that. She's not a politician, which is why she asked. She was, you know, really hitting it out of the park. She was very straight-spoken, blunt, very CEO-like, very business-like. She's in a unique position right now to really bring it to Hillary Clinton, because she can really debunk that war on women that they keep trying to drag along. And, you know, she's not going to look like a bully going after Hillary Clinton. She's a 60-year-old woman herself. It's not like she's going to be treated as if, you know, this is a sexist
Kevin,
issue.
we don't talk about a lady's age. Come on now.
I know. Look,
but Ellis, you know, John and I were talking about this earlier. Don't you think that it worked in her favor to be on that early debate stage? That maybe she would have been lost in the shuffle. What do you think?
No.
No?
I mean, wouldn't you rather be at the big table where a lot of people were watching?
I mean, but what I'm saying is I think that she got to where she is because of that she was in the other way. You don't think so? No. Okay, all right, go ahead, Ellis.
She was like, no, I hear you. She was like the MVP in Little League or something.
Right.
I get your point. I mean, it's not unreasonable, Miranda. Here's the problem with Carly. I mean, I think she did great. I mean, she performed well. She was probably the best in that group. The problem is she doesn't have a chance. I mean, she's got no money, right? She's hardly registering in the polls. She has no political organization to speak of. There's no reason in the world that any of us ought to think that she has the
except she hits every single question out of the park when she's asked it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's not how you get elected to be president.
All right, well, let's talk about somebody else in the
debate.
In the short time that we have remaining, let's talk about Dr. Ben Carson, if we can. Sure. He was asked what he would do to heal the racial divide in our country. Here's what he had to say.
Why don't I talk about race that often? I said it's because I'm a neurosurgeon. You see, when I take someone to the operating room, I'm actually operating on the thing that makes them who they are. The skin doesn't make them who they are. The hair doesn't make them who they are. And it's time for us to move beyond that.
Kevin, we only have a short time remaining, but your response to what the doctor said.
I mean, you can't argue with that. And Dr. Ben Carson comes from a very unique background, very unique experience growing up with a single mother. Didn't watch TV as a child, was forced to read books, and really, all of his success is owed to him. You know, he is a forerunner in the field of neurosurgery, doing surgeries that people weren't doing in the 1980s, and really putting that kind of stuff on the map. And, you know, this guy, extremely intelligent, extremely well-spoken, and extremely dedicated to what he was saying.
All right,
and by
Ellis,
that I mean he was...
Last word to you.
Yeah.
You all are, you see, here's the problem. You guys are mistaken. This is not a meritocracy. They're lovely people. I would love Ben Carson to do my brain surgery, but he's not going to be president. Let's understand that. You need money and relationships and power and history. This is politics. We're not electing saints here.
The question was about how he handled the race, though. How he handled the race question. So it's not whether he's going to win. I don't think he's going to win the presidency either. And you're right, it's not a meritocracy, which is exactly why Hillary Clinton shouldn't be candidate.
Guys, and what matters here, I think, though, and even though Ben Carson probably is not going to be the GOP nominee, what he can do is influence the discussion for the party as a whole, which can only help them. And we'll see where the conversation goes. Guys, we got to wrap it up right there. Ellis Henican, Kevin Broderick, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you. Have a great weekend, guys.
Spirited discussion, to say the least.
We like those.
All right, when we come right back, host of the Daily Wrap, Joe Concha, is going to join us here. He's going to talk about the Fox moderators and how they maybe have been the bigger story. And you know, reporters aren't supposed to be the story.
No,
They're
never.
just supposed to present this story. Also, Mark Moyer, the author of Strategic Failure, joins us for a critical look at President Obama's drone warfare policy.